All right, perfect. So we're going to go over all of the ideas that I marked up earlier. We're going to mark up some pairs on call. And then again, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat box. I have the chat box pulled up on my side. So if you do make a comment about something, it will be easy for me to see because I have the chat box pulled up. If for whatever reason I am not paying attention and I do not see your comment, there it is again. That means that price is just going back and forth in that area, which is totally fine. I'm just going to turn the alert back on and then we can go from there. All right. If you make or you have a comment or a question about something, and if you say within the next, I'll say 5 or so minutes after you post your question, you see that I have still not acknowledged your question, just unmute yourself and say something. It doesn't bother me if you interrupt me in the middle of something. I usually approach these calls with an agenda. So even if you ask me a certain question or you voice your opinion or comment about something, do not feel like if you cut me off, I'm not going to know where to start, because that's not the case. I always come to these calls prepared. In the event that somebody does have a question, I can easily pivot, right? I can look back at my notes, look back at my blueprint rather, and still know where I need to be going in the call. So start out with Euro odd. Again, these are already marked up. I marked these up earlier. So Euro odd is still consolidating just as it was when I marked these up earlier. We're just waiting for a break to the up or downside. Once I get that break, I'm going to get an alert. From there, I'm going to wait to the top of the hour for a close. Once I get that close, I'm going to execute my trade. For the most part, when you look at my markups, all you're going to see is buy or sell, right? Meaning execute. You're rarely going to see set a limit. You're rarely going to see set a stop. That's not, I'm just not that kind of girl. I like to be in control on when I enter the trade. So because of that, I like to just execute. I like to go ahead, hop in the market. And on top of that, with a lot of the time, I'm able to sit and watch my trades. I'm able to sit and watch what price action is doing. I'm not really bound by anything. And so because of that, I don't have to necessarily follow the whole set your trade and forget it type of approach. I can execute and watch what those pairs are doing. So because the majority of my markups look like this, does this layout not make sense to anyone? All right, cool. So I'm going to assume that this layout makes total sense to you guys. So that's Euro odd, still consolidating. Euro CAD, still consolidating. Euro Chef, also still consolidating, right? I personally don't like chef pairs. I don't like really anything chef odd or NZD. In my opinion, it moves really, really slow. But I still do mark them up for people who like odd chef and NZD type pairs. Euro GBP, same thing, still consolidating, which I'm not surprised. The market just opened a few hours ago. So again, I'm not surprised by any means. That's Euro JPY, Euro USD. Also not doing much of anything right now. All right. So look, this is why I kept getting an alert on GBP odd. Zoom in and show you, because every time I got the alert that it broke, right, that price breached that area, it alerted me to let me know, hey, price action is in the area of 1.93271. You need to go and look at this to see what it's doing. So every single time it went off, what did I do? I turned my alert back on because we have 44 more minutes left in this hour. And because I want to execute at the top of the hour, right, it's no concern to me right now. It's no concern to me right now because I'm not executing at the top of the 15-minute. Again, because the chances of fake outs on those time frames are higher. I want to know for sure that price is going to break and close. Now, if I was to say, hey, I only want to be in this trade for 15 minutes, right? I'm not worried about the possibility of a fake out. I could have came to the 15 minutes, saw that it broke and closed below, right, on my 15-minute time frame, and we would currently be in profit. I can't see. Almost 20 pips. Almost 20 pips off of a simple break and close on a 15-minute. But again, I like to execute on the hour just to minimize my chances of being faked out. Does that make sense to you guys before I move on to the next pair?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, here go GBP CAD. Still not doing anything. It's in between my zone It's not at a buy area or a sell area, so I'm not gonna do anything there. Again, here's another chef pair. Really don't care for them. I'll show you guys why. No, I don't want to add an alert. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, look at this. It's not really moving anywhere. Yes, it moves, but it consolidates more than anything, in my opinion. So I personally, again, just do not vibe with chef pairs hardly at all. All right, now these are the one time you'll see me say something about a limit, right? Here I have a break and a retest. Anytime you see on my markups a break and a retest, all that's letting you know is that you need to set a limit. That's it. So when price breaks and closes, right, that's going to be on 1 hour. It's going to break and close on 1 hour. On the next hour, if I get that retest, my limit is already set, but I need to wait again until price breaks and closes above, and this is why. So I'm going to draw on my screen here just to show you guys what I mean. All right, so you have to get to a place where you understand the difference between a stop and a limit, right? A buy stop, a buy limit, a sell stop, and a sell limit, right? If I am looking to set a buy stop, let's say that I want to enter on this line here, right? If I set a buy stop, my price can be under here. And as soon as price crossed this area, I just got entered into the trade right here, right? I got entered into the trade right here where I have this yellow area mapped out. Does that make sense to you guys? So I'm going to draw the rest of them out pretty much just like that. All right, perfect. So if I'm over here, right, this is my desired entry area, but price is up here. If I have a sell stop set, guess what? As soon as price crossed that area, I'm entered into the trade. I look at it as if I'm running the stop sign. Running the stop sign, I'm just gonna blow right through it, right? If I have a buy limit set, and this is my desired entry area, price is up here, right? Before I can input that buy limit into MetaTrader 4, price has to retrace or pull back first, then continue to the upside, right? So yes, my desired entry area is still right here, which is the same as over here on the other side. It's still the same area, but the way that my order is input is different, right? So let's say that we're looking for a break and a retest, right? Break, retest, right? After it breaks, now price is up here. Now you can input your your buy limit. Because as soon as price retests, you're going to get into that trade for a possible buy position. Same thing happens over here with a sell limit, right? For my sell limit, price is down here, right? My desired entry area is up here on my line. Then it'll continue to the downside, right? Still, if I had a break and retest for my sell position to be entered into the trade right here, both of these entry areas are the exact same, right? But in order for my sell limit to get activated, I'm looking for a break, then a retest, break, then a retest to the downside. Does that make sense between those 4 distinctions?
Yes.
Does anybody need me to go through that again before we continue?
So if I'm understanding correctly, the buy stop and the sell stop is it's just repeat real quick the difference. Sorry, my brain's a little mumbled.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I understand the buy limit and the sell limit. I just want to hear the buy stop real quick.
Okay, no problem. All right, so let's say, that's not what I need. This is what I need. Let's say these are my candlesticks, right? Even though it looks like a heart monitor. Those are my candlesticks, right? This is my price action in the market. Okay. Let's say I'm like, boom. As soon as it, actually, let me undo all of that and make it a little bit shorter. Okay. Now I say, as soon as price get to this area, I want to be entered into a buy, because on this side, right? Let me input some more words that I dropped on the team last week, right? I am anticipating a buy position, right? Why am I anticipating that buy position? Because, let me change the color on this. Because over here, right? Over here, we have a flag, right? And I'm anticipating that price is going to break out to the upside, right? And I want to be in that position as early as I possibly can. So I want to be into the trade right here. I'm going to set a buy stop. Why am I going to set a buy stop? Because as soon as price breaches this area or crosses this line, I'm entering into that trade. Now, if I was trying to set a buy limit, right? If I was trying to set a buy limit, this is what would need to happen. Price would need to break, then retest. Then I'll be entering into the trade. After it broke and retested.
Okay, I understand.
But I wouldn't be able to set this buy limit until it broke. It has to break first. So if you try to set a buy limit with price all the way down here, it's not going to let you.
Gotcha.
If you switch that position to a buy stop, it'll let you enter it. But price has to be above your desired entry area, like up here, in order for you to set a buy limit to be activated down here.
I got you. Perfect.
So a buy stop and a sell stop is just entering you in momentum, basically.
Pretty much, but you also got to think, like, let's say that here's our area, boom, here and here, and we have our candlesticks going wild in here, right? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now let's say that I get I'm gonna draw a little candlestick here. Imagine all the other ones candlesticks. Let's say I get a little candlestick like that, and I had a sell stop set, right? Got a sell stop set. So boom, right here at this yellow X, I just got entered into that trade. And then after that candle, guess what? Soon as that candle broke this level, this black level right here, soon as that candle broke that level, I got into that sell stop. But what if price continues to do this and then just goes on to the upside? Now I risk my stop loss getting hit because I had no insurance on that sell stop. As soon as it touched that area, for example, how many times my phone went off at the beginning of this call for GBP odd? It was just touching my area, right? If I would have had a sell stop set, I would have already been entering into the trade. Granted, in that example, it would be working in my favor, but what if at the top of the hour, it continued with some bullish momentum? Now I'm in drawdown because I didn't have any insurance on that trade. In that same example, let's say I had a sell limit set, right? If I had a sell limit set, I would have this candle right here that I drew, and this one would have to form as well before I got entered into that trade. Simply because of a break. This is my break. That candle right there would have been my retest. Then I would have gotten into the trade. So if it did this right here, boom, candle, continue in this direction, I would have never gotten into the trade with a sell limit, so I would have never lost anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Limits have to be retested. Yep, exactly. Exactly. All right, any other questions before we continue? All right, perfect. So that's GBP, JPY, not doing anything just yet. GBP, NZD, same deal. Nothing just yet. Same thing with GBP, USD. And this is old. So we're just going to start all the way over with USD CAD. All right, so what I like to do is called a top-down analysis, right? What that means is that I start on the daily time frame. This is preference. You don't have to, but I know for me, since I like to enter a trade on the 1 hour time frame, I like to enter that trade with the full market picture in mind. If I'm only entering off of a 1 hour time frame and I'm only mapping out my support and resistance on a 1 hour time frame, I don't have full market picture in mind, right? Overall, we could be in a downtrend, but on a 1 hour, it was like an uptrend. So here I am making an uninformed decision, and I'm trying to hold a long-term buy when overall the market is in the downtrend. Does that make sense on why I do a top-down analysis or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes
Yes.
perfect sense.
But I have a question.
Go ahead.
If you, let's say if you enter in on the 5 minute, would you still do the 4 hours or daily?
I would. The only time though that I enter on the 5 minute time frame is if I'm scalping. Other
Okay.
than that, I personally don't enter on a 5 minute time frame, but that doesn't mean that you can't. I just don't unless I'm scalping. But even in that case, like sometimes I enter trades on a 15-minute time frame. Even in a case like that, I still do a top-down analysis because I want to know, okay, can I hold, like if the overall trend is down, right? Can I hold my sell position longer than to my first take profit?
Okay.
I think somebody
Thank
else
you.
had a question at some point, I believe. Also, if at any point you guys, I know that this is an advanced training, but if you're new and if at any point I'm moving too fast for you, because I sometimes can, especially on an advanced training like this, and I'm trying to jam pack as much stuff as I can into one training. If I'm going too fast for you, I also talk really fast. I understand that. So if at any point you need me to slow down, just be like, hey girl, can you wait a minute? Can you back up? Can you rewind for a second? Again, that does not bother me whatsoever. I would rather you guys leave this training having learned something than leave the training even more confused than what you came. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yep,
Yes.
appreciate you.
Perfect.
Yes.
No problem.
Thanks.
No problem. And as I'm marking these up as well, I will post the screenshots of the markups with the parameters on them in the chat box. So you guys don't have to write down all of the numbers if you don't want to. That's totally fine, especially because I will be dropping these numbers into in a screenshot form into the chat. All right, so I see this as consolidation, right? The reason why, let's say I entered the market on the 23rd at 8 a.m. If I entered the market on the 23rd at 8 a.m., and this is where we are right now, the 26th at about 7, I have not really made no money if I entered a buy position. If I entered a sell position, I'm currently in drawdown. So to me, that is consolidation, right? So when I see a zone like that where the market is consolidating, about to break. Obviously cannot type and talk. When I see that, what I want to do is capitalize on that volatility, right? As soon as it breaks out, I want to capitalize. So I'm gonna buy at the break and close of this level of resistance right here, because the market is not going to consolidate forever. Even if the market consolidates for the next 5 years, at some point it's going to break this level, right? That's what we're looking for. Now, on the flip end of that, down here with this 1 and 4 hour level of support, I'm not going to say sell at the break and close of, because since this is a very strong level, price could come down here and do this. That's not what I want, right? I want to be a little bit more sure. So because I want to be a little bit more sure, I need a break and a retest, i.e. setting some type of limit, right? I need a break and a retest down here. If I don't get that break and a retest, I'm not entering this trade for a sell position. Not entering this trade for a sell position unless I get that break and retest. So now that I've mapped out what type of positions I'll be entering, like this buy right here, that's an execution, right? Market execution, buy by market, as soon as price breaks and closes above, not just breaks. Down here, I need a break and a retest of my level of support. Now that I've done that, my next step is to map out my take profits. So in your guys' zone to zone training that I uploaded last week, let's map out some zones, right? Let's make some clear distinctions between these zones. And I'm gonna change the colors of these as well. That way they stand out even more and make even more sense as I walk you guys through this. All right, perfect. We can clearly see that price is currently in our yellow zone, right? Right?
Yep.
Perfect. Price is currently in our yellow zone, meaning right now, I'm not worried about the red zone, not worried about the blue zone. I'm worried about the yellow one. Since I said I want to buy at the break and close of my 1 hour resistance, which is at the price 1.41270. If I need to buy, right? If I'm buying, that means that price is going what direction? Up, right? Since price is going up, I have graduated from my yellow zone. I am now in my red zone, right? Now that I'm in my red zone, what I need to do is find levels of support and resistance within my red zone. The levels of support and resistance within my red zone are going to serve as my take profits. Why? I like to map out my take profits based off of previous market structure, which is why if you're in our signals chat, you'll see me say, hey, TP1 hit for 38.63 pips. Because I'm not going to say, hey, market, you better give me 45 pips. What if it don't want to? Why wouldn't you just look to the left and take what it's going to give you? Would you be happier with 13 pips or none? 13 pips or negative 30 because you were trying to force the market to give you 20 pips when it only wanted to give you 13 and now it has hit your 30 pip stop loss. When you lose, I guarantee you can say, oh man, I was definitely in profit 9 pips. I should have took them 9 pips. I should have input a stop profit when I was 8 to 10 pips in profit. So that no matter what, my trade was a winning trade. So since I want to buy at the break, I'm now in my red zone to map out my take profits, right? All you're doing is finding levels of support and resistance within that area. That's it. Support and resistance within that area, right? So from my buy area to my TP1, that's a little bit less than 30 pips, right? A little bit less than 30 pips. Personally, I don't care how many pips it is, right? I'm going to take what the market is going to give me. TP1 could have been 9 pips. Guess what? I'm going to take them 9 versus taking none. And I guarantee you at the end of the week, the pips add up. TP1 to TP2 is a little bit less than 20 pips. And that's all I do. I just walk my way up in whatever zone I'm waiting on my position to turn to, right? So boom, I got my TP 1, 2, and 3 on my buy side. Guess what? I am done with my red zone and my 4-hour resistance. What am I going to look for? Before I enter another buy position, I need to see a break and a retest. The example I like to give all the time is if you was talking to a dude for my ladies, and if you were talking to a female for my men, right? What I like to say is, bro, let me know if you're feeling me or not, right? Let me know if you're feeling me is this candle. I mean, is this arrow. That's to let me know if you're feeling me, right? This retest, you sure you feeling me? Like, are you for sure about this? Like, you 100%? My yellow eclipse, let me know if you're feeling me or not before I invest into you, right? I had to break the market down into ways that made most sense to me. Before I give you my time, my energy, my coin, let me know if you for real about this or not before I invest my time into you. Translate that to the market. Before I invest my money into you, are you sure you want to go in this direction? Before I press buy, do I need to be pressing sell instead? Because truthfully, price could get up here to this 4-hour resistance, right? We can walk our way all the way up here and price could plummet. Why? Because that 4-hour level of resistance is a strong level of resistance, right? It's a strong level of resistance. How do I know that? If we go to the 4-hour, I can almost bet you when price get in this area, what happens? Plummets, boom, plummet. Do you see what I'm saying? Look at them wicks right here. Wick failure, wick failure, wick failure, wick failure, wick failure, right? So before I invest in you, let me know for sure this is what you want to do before you turn on me. That's how I like to look at the market. So now we're going to focus on our blue zone. If we get that break and retest to the downside, right? And I'm going to literally go through and do the exact same thing I just did on the buy side. I'm going to look for areas of support and resistance, right? Look for areas of support and resistance within my blue zone, Yes, those are levels of support and resistance on a smaller scale, but guess what? Support and resistance nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, let's see how many pips this is. Roughly 23 pips. Guess what? I'm cool with that, right? I'm cool with them 23 pips. If that's the market gonna give me, again, that's what I'm gonna take. Walk my way down. That's literally all I do with my take profits. I see one more possible take profit, and we good after that third take profit. At that point, I already got my pips out the market. It can do what it want to do, right? It can do what it want to do at that point. So now we have our take profits in our different areas, right? We have our buy and our sell position mapped out. So guess what? Once price breaks consolidation, we are already armed and ready, right? We are already armed and ready. We don't have to, ooh, snap. I think prices, got some bullish momentum. Oh, snap. I think price got some bearish momentum. Let me go and press sell. If you already got your markup done, you don't have to guess. Your markup is done. You can execute pertaining to whatever your markup says. If you plan to sell later, but okay, yeah, I can go over stop loss right now. And yes, Chelsea, you're right. You calculate your stop loss based on what you're willing to risk. Now, let's say that, hold on one second. Let me see. All right. And here we have our buy area. Down here, we have our sell area. All right, so if I enter a buy position here, right? And let's say that my TP1 on my buy, I like my TP1s or my TPs to be blue, right? There's my TP1. And let's say that price only makes it here before it continues down. And for whatever reason, I did not input a stop profit, right? I did not input a stop profit at this level. So I was in profit, but now I'm in drawdown. My sell entry area is now my stop loss for my buy, right? Stop loss for my buy. If I wanted in a sell position, right? And on my sell position, I had my TP here. And for whatever reason, I did not input a stop profit when the market got here. And now it has made its way to my buy area. Guess what? My buy area is the stop loss for my sell. Right? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So for me, I like to look at everything in terms of loss. I like to look at everything in terms of loss, right? So in this example, let's see. Between our buy and our sell area, we have 127 pips, right? That's a huge stop loss for somebody. A huge stop loss for somebody. So let's just go with 127. 127 pip stop loss, right? Before I enter a trade, I need to know if I'm going to utilize that framework for my stop loss, right? I need to be able to say, okay, based on the amount of space between my buy and my sell areas, 127 pips. Okay, cool. So if I use a 0.01, all right, bet that's $12.70. Okay, cool. Can I lose that on one trade? All right, bet if I use a 0.10, right, that's $127 if I lose that trade. All right, cool. If I'm a big boy, right? I'm a big boy in the market. So if I use the standard, okay, that's $1,270. Which one makes the most sense for me to lose? Because let's be real. If our TP, let's say our TP1 is 40 pips, right? If our TP1 is 40 pips, are you gonna be mad about making $4? If our TP or if our lot size is 0.10, are you gonna be mad about making $40? right? Do y'all catch my drift? I don't care how much money I make, right? I can make 40 cents. I can make 40 cents and I'm over the moon. But can I lose $12? I look at everything in terms of loss. Yep, exactly. The zone is going to be the stop loss. The zone is going to be the stop loss. If I say, bro, I ain't trying to have the possibility of losing $127 on one trade, yeah, that's ridiculous. So you know what? I'm going to use a 0.10. And if my first TP is 40 pips, hey, I'm happy with my $4. Because I could have not had that. It could have hit my stop loss, right? It could have hit my stop loss. So that's usually what I do. For me, I calculate my risk beforehand, and I just kind of go from there. But I don't want to, brag, but none of my trades have even come anywhere close to hitting stop loss in a while. And that link that I posted in the chat for you guys when we first started, you can go there and see for yourself if that is true. And I will post it again for anybody who came late to the party. Any other questions before I continue and before I post this UK markup in the chat? Thank you. Devian, don't you pipe me up like that. Don't you pipe me up like that, Mr. McKinney. All right, so there is the UCAD markup. There is the UCAD markup. All right, let's continue along. We'll do one more markup and then I will let you guys be. I'm pretty sure I already marked up GU. Yep, I did. We'll do UJ, or let's do gold since I've already done a major. Let's look at gold and see what we got. Let's say the candles close above the buy zone. You wait for the retest, and if you do, what time frame do you enter? It depends on what my markup says. If my markup says buy at the break and close, then once it closes, I'm buy executing. If I have a break and a retest mapped out, then yes, I'll wait for the retest and I enter on the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame to minimize my chances of being faked out as much as I possibly can. Not saying that I always will, right? But I have, in my experience, oh my goodness, in my experience, I get faked out more on the 15-minute than I do the 1 hour. All right, so here go my daily resistance. There's my daily support. Actually, that's on the 1 hour. Let's delete that. I didn't realize. Remove everything. To the daily we go. All right, there we go. That's my daily resistance. There is my support. To the 4 hour we go. Guess what? My 4 hour and my daily resistance line up, right? 4 hour and daily resistance line up. I could put a level of support right here for my 4 hour, right? But let's say, just to see who has been listening to any of my other calls. Let's see. Let's say my 4 hour support was also in alignment with my daily support. What is that called? Who knows what that's called?
The nut section.
Say that again.
Confluence.
Confluence. Whoever said that is correct. Yes, yes, and yes. That is called confluence, which is exactly what is happening at our level of resistance. Right? So on these, we're not just going to buy at the break and sell at the break, right? Because both of those levels have some confluence. So guess what? We need to see a break and a retest on both sides a break and a retest on both sides in order to enter the trade. Right? So let's say price breaks and you know, oh snap, okay, for the next hour or two, you know, I'm finna be occupied. And price broke to the upside. Soon as it break and close, and you know you're finna be occupied, guess what? Set yourself a buy limit. Either it's gonna activate or it's not. Right? Either it's gonna activate or it's not. And I'm gonna show you guys something else. So I'm actually going to remove this break and retest, and I'm gonna show you why in just a second. All right. I'm gonna make this red. You guys see how right here, April 23rd at 9 a.m., it broke and closed above. And then it broke and closed above April 24th, 5 a.m. But then it went in the opposite direction. So guess what? Guess what I see that as? A possible fake out zone. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait until price clears my possible fake out zone, right? Once price clears my possible fake out zone, I no longer need a break and retest, right? For me, now all I need to do is buy the break and close of. Because price had already let me know it's done with the indecision, right? It's done with that fugazi stuff. I can go ahead and buy the break and close. I don't necessarily have to wait on a break and a retest, right? Because it's already cleared this nonsense right here. So if it go ahead and clear that nonsense, I can go ahead and buy the break and close. And I just got another alert on Euro I. So in the next 5 minutes, if I forget, can you guys say, hey girl, hey Katie, something? Hey, wait a minute. Can you go check on Euro I and GBPI? Because they are both to the downside right now, per my markup. Per my markup. All right, so we're gonna get this break and retest down here. Guess what? Map out your take profits. Same way we did before. We in this zone, right? Boom, TP1. TP1 right here at whatever coordinate this is. 1708, that's about what? A little bit less than 60 pips. A little bit less than 60 pips on my TP1. Guess what? On gold, when I'm up 20 to 30 pips, I'm gonna input a stop profit. You think I'm gonna try to wait? Wait to get to 60 pips? Not a chance. Input your stop profit. Input your stop profit and go on about your life. Here's my TP2, 1703. It's about 50 pips from your TP2, about 100 pips from your entry, depending on where it retests at, right? Depending on where it retests at. Then I'm gonna get a little bold and I'm gonna say TP3. I'm gonna say TP3 at 1695. TP3 at 1695. That's about 130 or so pips from your entry. If you guys don't know how to calculate pips on hand, I definitely recommend you practice. Because if somebody's sending out a signal and you're trying to figure out what you're risking, right? You're trying to figure out, oh, why they only got a 20 pip take profit, but our stop loss is 50 pips. But if you just entering numbers, you don't know that you're risking a little bit over double of what you're willing to gain. So if you don't know how to calculate pips on hand, I definitely recommend you practice. It's imperative, especially if you know you're going to be taking somebody else's signals, right? All right, let's see. So my TP1 on my buy is here. We don't have no action for a while. So guess what? Let me just hop to my 4 hour, right? And see what we got. Again, nothing for a while. All right, I don't want to scroll back super far. Let me hop to my daily. Again, nothing, right? Nothing. So because of that, guess who's not about to put another TP? I'm not. Why would I do that? And we haven't even been this high at least since 2017, 2016. It would make no sense for me to do such a thing. So I'm just going to reset my markup Go to my 1 hour time frame. Boom, that's my only take profit right there, right? My only take profit right there. Yes, we're in the uptrend, but guess what this also is, you guys? Look at this. Who knows what this is?
Bearish flag.
Yep, exactly. It's a bearish flag. So guess what price will likely do? Break to the downside, right? Not saying that it will, but the chances of it doing so are high. So I'm going to leave my multiple take profits to the downside, leave that one TP to the upside, and follow suit. Flag on the daily. Yes, sir. Exactly. Exactly. Davion want me to go look at the peso. So before I do that, I'm about to drop this markup in the chat box.
Don't forget about GDP.
Say it again.
I said, don't forget about GDP.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let's go see what's popping with GBPI.
Don't forget to check your alerts.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all are the best. All right, let's see. So for the most part, unless we get a tough rejection, it's gonna break and close to the downside. If so, be prepared. The other one was Euro odd to the downside as well. Yep, it's broke, right? It has broke. We're waiting on the close. We are waiting on a close. In the meantime, in the next 7 minutes, I can mark up the peso. I may not go into as much detail on the peso because I want to make sure that this markup is done before the top of the hour so that we can go look at GA and EA. But I mean, by this point, you guys should catch my drift on how I mark up charts, why I mark them up the way that I do. Also, for anybody who feels like it takes forever to mark up your charts, that's untrue, right? It's untrue. You just have to be willing. You got to have a little bit of skill. That's it. A little bit of skill. Willpower is everything. Willpower is literally everything. I used to mark up charts in the middle of the night while I nursed my son back to sleep. So there's literally no excuse on why you can't learn this. Again, you just have to have a little bit of willpower, and I promise you, it'll work. Now, it may take me 30 seconds to mark up a chart. I don't have to invest as much time into chart markups as I did beforehand for that reason.
KD doesn't do stop losses. Just
I've asked about a stop loss.
yeah.
That mean they missed my extra long explanation. No, it's all good. It's all good. Depending on what my zones are, no, you're absolutely right. I do not map out a stop loss. If I have a buy area and a sell area and I'm in a buy position, my sell entry area is my stop loss for my buy. My sell entry area is my stop loss for my buy. So right here, right, there's confluence. So guess what? Guess what I want to see? A break and a retest in order for me to enter this trade for a buy position.
Sorry, the question was how many pips do you before you move into stop profit?
8 to 10 pips. 8 to 10 pips on Bitcoin. 80 to 100. Same thing that we did on the other two. You're going to look at what zone you're in and find levels of support and resistance within that zone to find your take profits. Some people say, no matter what, I want 30 pips. But for me, what if the market don't want to give me that? If my trade hit stop loss after I went in profit 29 pips, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be upset if that's what happens. So I like to map out my take profits according to what has happened in the past. All right, boom. So this is my markup for the this is my markup for the peso. So I'm going to post this in the chat for you guys. We have about 3 minutes left, and I'm going to go and check on our EA and GA because they're right both in our sale execution areas. They are both in our sale execution area. So this is the peso coming to the chat box right now. We be marking up cryptocurrency pairs tonight. No, I did Bitcoin yesterday. And we were talking about Bitcoin earlier. And right, Ashley's right. The markup for Bitcoin is on TradingView, which hold on, little dude. All right, so from here, we're just gonna go and look at, I can't look at both, right? I can't be looking at both. So I'm gonna just pick my poison and I'm gonna say Euro odd. The reason why I'm choosing Euro odd instead of GBP odd is because GBP odd has already hit our TP1. So unless we would have entered on the 15-minute time frame, GBP odd is already at our TP1. That does not mean that you can't still enter that trade to TP2. Not what that means, but again, I'm just gonna play it safe and I'm gonna choose Euro odd. And that's the pair that I'm gonna rock with for the next 38 seconds. So if price breaks and closes below, which it has broken and it is below right now, we're gonna enter for a sell execution to this take profit. Any questions? All right, y'all, we got a few more seconds. All right, it closed below. You can go ahead and execute your sale to that take profit area. If you are still in the Bitcoin trade, we are fluctuating around 150 or so pips, just fluctuating back and forth. Hopefully at this point you have a stop profit in. Hopefully at this point you have a stop profit in. There's the take profits on Euro odd. So make sure you guys enter your take profits unless you plan to trail your stop. If so, you need to be attentive to your trade, right? You need to be attentive to your trade. Once you get 8 to 10 pips in profit, make sure you input a stop profit. If you're not entering this trade, that's okay. Just go to the trade ideas to see how it turned out for the rest of us. Let's see. Let's see earlier. Yep, exactly. All right, so like always, I love you guys. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your Sunday. In the morning, 11 a.m., we'll be back for Trading Basics. We're only going to be talking about basic stuff. We're not going to be going this far into markups whatsoever. Literally the basics. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., Advanced Trading Training with Caleb. And then on Tuesday morning, 4:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, just like we did last week, a trading blitz, right? Almost 300 pips was caught on that call, not including anything that we did for US 30, right? So you need to be there 4:45 a.m. to roughly about noon when the market starts to slow down. So if you guys have any questions for me about anything whatsoever, you're not in trade school, that's okay. You know how to find me on Telegram. Shoot me your questions and I will get them answered for you. I love you all. I will be
Thank you. Appreciate you.
recording Of course, no problem. I'll
Thank
be
you
posting
so
this
much,
recording here
Katie.
shortly. Yeah, I love y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.
Let's go.